Hi everyone, I really hope you're doing well. I'm excited because today I get to welcome Dagger to the Discover New Music podcast. A few weeks ago, they released their debut album, A Guide for Apparitions, and it is a fantastic album that is going to give us a lot to talk about. So I can't wait to get into the chat. But before then, you need the usual reminders from me. If you would, please do follow Full Pelt on social media. We're on Facebook at Full Pelt and on X and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. And again, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, whatever you're watching or listening. But enough of that because it's time to get into the chat with Dagger. So let's go. Welcome, Lewis and Maisie from Dagger to the Discover New Music podcast. As I was just saying to you before I hit record, absolutely delighted to have you on because there's a lot of great stuff we can talk about, all centered around your debut album, A Guide for Apparitions, which I've absolutely loved since it come out. But before we dive into the album fully, we always start off this podcast with the same question. It's the Discover New Music podcast. Hopefully, for some people to discover some new music would be nice. So we always have a bit of an icebreaker, and I call it the origin story, which is pretty grandiose for what it really is, and probably the simplest question I'm gonna ask. But what is the background for Air Drawn Dagger? How did you come together? What is your origin story?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one, but I guess, well, we've been told it's just a life for us, isn't it? Yeah, I was in Sheffield and looking to start a band. Found Maisie. We started writing songs in the back of the cake shop she worked at. Then we started playing in random everywhere we could, from like punk gigs to tapas restaurants and weird stuff like that. And then with Ross, our drummer, we were gigging everywhere really after that, and we started releasing pretty consistently, building a fan base who've now got our logo tattooed on them, which is just like surreal. Maisie, I think that's everything. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Like we just like you say, like we just kept playing really weird acoustic shows and like places that we definitely didn't belong. We should never have stepped foot in. But yeah, it's now we're here, so, so it's great.
Yeah, it is great. It really is because I've loved everything that's been coming from the band so far, and I do love that origin story. Now, we've got two podcasts that we do with Full Pelt Music, and obviously I only ask about the origin story on this one. And when I saw the note of the cake shop, I was like, you know what, I'm going to put this podcast. It's going to be Discover New Music because I want to ask about the cake shop. So, so it is a pretty unique one. Obviously, we've get pushing about 80 episodes of this podcast now, so about 80 different guests that have told me the origin story of the band, and a lot of traditional ones in there. Cake Shop, I wouldn't say is too traditional. I assume you were both working in this cake shop. You hadn't maybe broken in or anything, or you're just big
No,
fans of cake.
like that one raccoon. No, we I had the cake shop with my mum, so we had like a little vegan bakery a few years back. Um, and then when we were done for the night, we just kind of put the shutters down, and me and Lou would just like write from the back of there, and we'd have people like trying to crawl under the shutters, being like, "Can I have coffee?" And we'd be like, "No, fuck off."
I got a good deal out of it though, because I got the like whatever cake was left over. So yeah, kind of lured into this band really when I think about it like that. Like you've
Yeah.
left literal breadcrumbs down Abbeydale Road that left me being like, what's here? Oh, it's
Okay,
a
okay.
band. Oh.
The only reason you stick around is because there might be more cake later on.
Honestly, yeah, it's the carrot on the stick
Yeah.
constantly. Being
The
like,
carrot cake on a stick.
yeah, hey. But like maybe there will be more cake one day. I better carry on doing this.
No, that is no, I love it, and it's great that it's an opportunity. People when they come together to create, they need a space to do that. And I know when I was in high school, pretending that I was going to have a career in music and trying to be in a band, realizing I was quite awful. But we used to have to pay to hire out halls and things to be able to practice in. So it's fantastic. Obviously, Maisie, your mum was happy to let you serenade the cakes with obviously
That's
yeah
why they
early stuff.
tasted so good.
Exactly, and I mean the puns do just fall off the tip of the tongue, obviously. And I think when I wrote the review of the album, I did slip a few cake-based puns in there and things. So it's got to be done. And funnily enough. If you eat too many cakes, it'll probably give you a bellyache, which is a nice little segue to where I'm going next. I always like to ask about the track we're featured on the accompanying playlist to this podcast, and for it's Bellyaches for Edge on Dagger, and that actually is also it won our poll for single of the week as well. Another great reason to talk about it. What can you tell me about the song? How did Bellyaches come together for you? What's it all about?
I think we were set out to try and uh, I guess like capture a certain feeling. Like we and like sonically we were looking for a certain vibe. It was very like a euphoric sort of explosion of like basement, like Midwest emo influence sort of things, like lyrics you can just sing in unison with your friends about like the end of the world or like this is as good as it gets kind of like feeling that you want to live in forever. That was sort of the brief I think we kind of wrote ourselves when we were looking for the song. And then it kind of fit really well as like an end credits. That sort of like euphoria moment at the end. So coming after like the heaviest song, which is Apparitions, that's like the crescendo, felt like a crescendo of the album, and then this is sort of like an end credits, like an ode to getting in a mess with your mates, really. That was kind of the vibe on it, Maisie.
Yeah, it really like wrote itself as well. It was one of the tracks on the album that we probably wrote the quickest, which is always a really good sign for us as well. Sometimes you kind of try and slog your way through a song and then in the end you end up kind of throwing it out and the ones that write themselves are always turn out to be the best. And yeah, like Lou said, it's just it really is just about like living in the best moment and really not wanting it to end. And I think we've all kind of had those times where you're just like being really messy with your mates and you're just like, yeah, oh, this is like the best it's ever going to be.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those songs. It is. I grew up, I say, trying to play music and being a bit of a skater and all of this. So obviously, pop punk has always had a place in my heart, and it's just got one of those sort of feel good, kicking back with your friends like vibes like to it. So I just really enjoyed it, and obviously that feeds into the video, which I'm going to talk a lot about videos in a second. And obviously the video worked really well to fit the aesthetic of the song. I felt yeah, it's definitely one of the listeners need to check out. I've got a habit on this podcast. I will constantly chuck out to the listeners a few plugs. And Bellyaches, our single of the week a few weeks ago, definitely the first of those to check out. And the video for it leads nicely into the video for the next track that I want to talk about. And obviously, the video for it has come out yesterday as we speak today. Cadavers. Another fantastic track from the album. And Obviously, the overall package of these videos I want to get into. But before then, I will just allow you to tell us what Cadavers means to you, what that song is, just the listeners have got the context behind it.
Yeah.
Cadavers is a little bit less light-hearted. It's more of like the world's on fire and no one's doing anything about it. And but what can you do about it? It's a bit of a bummer to be honest. But the video for that is in a bit more of a positive light. It was kind of a bucket list video for us. We've always wanted to do the rain video. Like, we grew up watching all of our like favorite emo bands doing the rain video. So to get to do that and then to also not to like give too much away, but to be able to have like the whole tank involved with that as well, just felt like a really like huge kind of tick off our list. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, the music video for Cadavers as a standalone is just fantastic because, like you say, it's the rain video. Everyone, the amount of rain videos I talk about on the various podcasts because I always focus on the music videos because again, going back to my youth, sitting before school, after school, watching Krang, Scuzz, MTV, that was what I grew up with watching, and there's always something special about the rain videos. They just look cool. But I'm always intrigued to know what it was like making it because, I mean, wet is the
old.
obvious word, but cold, yeah.
Cold.
What was the experience like for you, putting that video together?
It was bizarre, wasn't it? I've never done like like a swimming badge at school. Like I'm a pretty good swimmer, but I never did like the what's it called? There's one where like you jump in with all your clothes on to get like stuff from the bottom of the pool. It's like you get it in like your 500 meters and all this like stuff. I've never done that, but that's probably the closest that I could like feel that that probably was it. To be stood in the shower with a guitar and like in our like stage clothes and stuff, it was just so weird. And it's
Mm.
kind of like warm water, but kind of not. So it's a bit like what I'd imagine again, getting peed on's like. Just-
Again.
again after last time and everything. I said never again. And yet here we are. Um, yeah, so it's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird. Maisie had it worse, to be honest, though, because she had
Hmm.
obviously the tank scenes. So got to give you props there, Maisie, because
Yeah.
you were in and out constantly. Like we did all the rain stuff, and then you were in the tank all afternoon. So yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. The tank was crazy as well. It felt like a whole new skill that I had to learn that I will never use again. Like you have to like breathe, you have to let like a certain amount of air out of your lungs and like put your arms and legs in a certain way. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah at the time. And then when I left, I was like, I'm literally never going to use that ever again. No purpose for this.
No,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, sorry, go on, Lewis. Yeah.
I was gonna say you got really good at it. Like again,
Yeah.
it's a strange
Maybe
one.
I'll Moonlight as a mermaid.
Yeah, deep sea diver, like one of
Yeah.
them. Aren't they opening? What's it called? Thingy, the the theme park that's opening down south.
SeaWorld.
Yeah, yeah. No, not SeaWorld. No, what you can't. What you're gonna be an orca? No, you can't be.
Can't wait.
Yeah, well,
Hey, no.
definitely a new opportunity perhaps opening up there. And I think you deserve the badge that Lewis talked about. I think, yeah, you should have one made up for you for doing that. Yeah, and as I say, it works so well. And I grew up, as I say, watching music videos. I've got a big passion for them. It's a dying art. And particularly on this podcast, sometimes I come on and I go, right, let's find a music video I can talk to the band about. And there isn't one because I haven't gone through the effort. And there's a lot of reasons why, finance is the biggest one. But you've obviously got the video we've talked about there with cadavers and the lead in of Bellyaches, but there's a whole range of videos. Listeners need to go on YouTube and check out all of your videos because I can tell that you've got obviously hopefully a similar love to me for the art that is a music video, and you can see that you've put in so much care into these videos. So there is a link in the bio. There will be for listeners that go through, click, and check all these videos out. Just generically on music videos, how important are they to you as a band?
They're
Massive.
my favorite part of the process. After literally writing songs, and to be honest, when I'm writing a song, the video is also in mind. When we're thinking of the album concept and everything, the videos were there at like the front of my mind the whole time. Um, yeah, I was the same. Like I grew up just like watching music videos. Like I was literally on YouTube every day. I used to live in like the artichoke fields of Spain as a teenager, so I had nothing else to do. And I used to literally just watch endless music videos on YouTube. And now that I get to like make them, I'm like so stoked about it. So I really like squeeze out everything that I can from them. And we are like beyond lucky to have Aaron Mackenzie as our manager, who is also just the most incredible filmmaker. So yeah, how that I can't believe how well that all worked out.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It's like you say, it's so strange from the get-go. Like we've done this for years. Like when we'd be writing something, we'd be like, "Oh, this is that video," or "That would be like this," and like we immediately start world building before we've finished writing verses and stuff. It's just kind of like the process begins immediately with demos, and then makes it quite easy, really, to then carry on because it feels like just part of the medium of what we make a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's never been once where we've sat and gone, oh, what are we going to do for this music video?
Yeah.
It's always like, all right, time to do this one.
Yeah, that one. It's just kind of like another chapter type thing, isn't it? I guess
Mm.
it's yeah, it's weird how we do it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing how you do it. It really is. As someone that obviously just loves music videos and that type of art, I think you've absolutely nailed it down. And obviously, you touched on Aaron McKenzie, who's obviously worked with you on the videos. And it's funny again doing these podcasts about 150 odd over the two different podcasts now, and obviously researching. You pick up on certain names, be it a producer for an album, or in this case, given my love of music videos, obviously who has obviously produced the music videos, worked directing the videos, and Aaron, not just for yourselves, but he's come up quite a lot with a number of artists that I've interviewed, and obviously just fantastic at what he does. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Listeners definitely go and check these videos out, and whilst I'm telling you to check things out, obviously we'll go back to what I started with, a guide for Apparitions, your debut album, which is always, just a fantastic thing to get out there in the world. It's 3 weeks now as we talk since the record came out, and obviously there's a lot of hype or a lot of build towards albums. I don't think listeners realise how long sometimes bands have to sit on this finished sort of piece of art that they've made before they're allowed to put it out into the world. So after all of that build, obviously the pressures of the debut album and everything, 3 weeks down the line, has it all been worth it? How have you found the reception to the album?
Imagine if we were like, nah.
Nah.
I
Has
guess
anyone ever been like,
back to singles.
tell you what, never
That
again.
was hard.
Long form ain't for me, baby. No, it totally was.
We're writing
Yeah, I don't
jingles on.
jingles. Yeah, we're writing 30-second TikTok jingles. That's it. Nothing.
Yeah.
Shorter the better. 5 second. Maybe just made like ambient jazz or noise. What's that stuff
Lo-fi
yeah, what's that stuff when like people are in garages just like scraping microphones on the floor? That's like just noise, isn't
sound
it?
effects.
No, no, no. I mean like real shows that like proper nerds go to.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm
I
talking
know,
about.
I know what you're talking
I always
about.
get
Yeah.
recommended it. I'm like, oh, do I love it or is it just shit? But I'm like that with our music too. So, a bit, my taste is just a bit all over the show. Yeah, let's do another album. No, we love doing the long form stuff in the world. It goes back to the world building thing. Like we knew there was always going to be a concept, and we were going to draw on everything that we were building on from previous releases for the full length. All it's quite rare we do something like without full intention to, maybe call back to it in the future or maybe to reference it or as a building block. So yeah, the album we got to like see the vision come to life, which was like terrifying while we were doing it because it felt really ambitious and crazy. But now it feels strangely encouraging that we can pull it off. And yeah, it's a shame really because now we're going to do something even sillier next probably. Or we've
I
just
feel
been
like album one was like the payoff as well. Like
yeah.
we've always wanted to write an album and we've always kind of tried to have the discipline of we won't write album one until it's time to write album one. And now that we have got to do it, it's exceeded expectations in terms of like how the experience was. Like it really was just like a dream come true. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic to hear that the experience obviously was so positive because I wanted to touch on obviously you do seem like you're very focused. You know what you want to achieve. Whether it's like the creation of the album, the music videos, the whole aesthetic around the band. Obviously, I just wanted to touch on did the now you can with hindsight reflect. Did the experience go as you expected it to?
I don't know if we had any expectations of the process necessarily. It's always just like I say, it's just been like a dream to write an album. And I think just literally every step of it, we've just been really stoked for, even down to like making a spreadsheet for the budget of the album, which you don't think about when you're like 15 and you want to be a rock star. But we're just so grateful to be here that even just like inputting numbers into a spreadsheet, I've been like, yes, this is sick.
It's just like you say, it's what you said about it feeling like a trophy moment of being like
Mm.
just to work, to work, to work, to work, just to get to day one of having an album out. So like, yeah, it still feels really surreal that everyone can hear these songs now and they're not just like, in a folder that only we can hear. Surreal that people are like connecting to them and stuff and lovely. And I think it's just going to take a while for us to process and we can't wait to like take these songs out on the road and tour for the rest of the year with this and see how they translate live and yeah, how they sort of develop now that they're not just ours, they're kind of everyone's. So it's fun.
And I absolutely love that about music as a whole, about songs, because obviously they're created in kind of the moment when they're created, but like you say, then they're everyone's, and they mean different things to different people as they listen to them. And you're definitely fostering a bit of a community around the band that are obviously buying into these songs and sort of what they're taking from them. And it's fantastic to see. It really, really is, and will lead me nicely onto, as you've touched upon, the live side, which is my next questions. But before then, I feel that I'd be amiss if I didn't just highlight the fact that I think you're the first band that has ever said they were stoked to fill out a spreadsheet. Now,
I love Excel.
Yeah, Paul, we're not cool. We are not cool people. Okay.
you're my people, very much so. So in my day job, I am constantly like taking the mickey out of for like any problem that arises within my day job. I go, you know what, we need a spreadsheet for that. A spreadsheet's going to solve this. And I just create another spreadsheet. And yeah, I'm more than happy for a bit of spreadsheet love. Yeah, I always say that I excel at it. Anyway,
Oh, Paul, come on.
I know. Well, I am. Yeah, I'm a dad, so I do have to get the dad jokes in. It's just has to be done. But yeah, speaking of having to be done, bands when they generally release music, they tend to then like to go out and play the songs live.
Tradition,
Now, it
traditional.
is a bit of a tradition, isn't it? And it's a fun thing to do. So let's try and point the listeners to where they can do that. And obviously, you've got some co-headline shows coming up by another great band, sorry, Crushed by Waves, who we've featured over on some of our bits on the website as well. So they're definitely some shows to check out. You've also just announced you're going to be playing with Halo Scene, a number of support shows in the UK coming up in June. And also you're going to be hitting the EU, Europe, to go and play with Indecent Behaviour. So already we're building a picture here, listeners. There's some shows that you can go and check out, and you're very much gonna want to do so. For yourselves, you touched on it, Lewis. Obviously that whole how are these songs going to translate across the stage? You've obviously already played the album release show, massive show for you, hometown show in Sheffield. How was that show, and how did the songs translate across to the stage?
Oh, the show is nuts. Still very much processing that as well. Like that whole week with the album release and the show, it's going to take a while to come down from that. It was great just to be able to like bring this sort of like the music videos that you mentioned. Like we were bringing those characters to life on stage with like immersive theater elements, as well as having some pyro of like confetti and streamers and just like making it quite an explosion and quite a joyous experience of like how we felt that we'd worked to get to this point. We wanted everyone to kind of make it quite celebratory, really. That was the vibe. And the songs went down really well. Like consider we'd played a London show like as a warm up with the Intersphere a couple of weeks prior. Was it a couple of weeks prior? And
Mhm.
we give like a couple of them a go just because we needed to. So we weren't debuting like 8 new songs or something like that's terrifying. We did a couple of the singles, and yeah, I think they went all right. I think Maisie. I don't know. How did you?
Yeah, God. I mean, the album had been out for one day and people were singing every word of tracks that weren't singles. They were just album tracks and people knew every word. And I was just like, how have you guys even retained this at this point, let alone like know it and like feel it, which is
Yeah.
incredible. And yeah, as Lou said, like it's really not had time to sink in yet. Like I still think back to things that happened like during the show, things that people that I spoke to before and after. Um and it's mad, it's insane, and like once again we're just really grateful to have had that experience.
Speaking of belly aches earlier as well, we got the moment that we'd wrote the song for as well. Like, there's like footage of us making the song where we were saying about like people doing the pop punk point in the air and singing the words
Like
back.
into
And
the
that's
mic, like
yeah, that's kind of the vision we had. Like that was the emotion we were trying to channel to write a song. And then
Mm.
we got to see it play out when we played that song and people were like
Or
crowd
like
surfing.
18 months later.
Yeah, people were like crowd surfing over the barrier and singing the words back. And I was like, can't even, I'm trying to play it and I'm looking at people and I'm like, can't comprehend it at all. It just felt like, yeah, triumphant was the vibe.
What an amazing feeling for you. Yeah, truly. It is amazing. And yeah, listeners, the best place to obviously find these dates these days is social media. So I always give out the social handles and they will pop up in the corner. And I'd like to think in 2025 people are savvy enough to find them without me. But I just, it's a bit, speaking of tradition, it's something I do now. So Instagram and Facebook, Air Drawn Dagger Band, and X, Air Drawn Dagger with an underscore. So that's where you want to go. Obviously, find a show if you can. Really recommend coming and check out the band. Obviously, festival season's coming up as well, so some more opportunities there. I know Radar is on your radar. Another dad joke
Mhm.
there for you. But I mean, the lineup for Radar looks absolutely amazing,
Yeah,
stunning. So you
yeah,
must be excited to play that one.
yeah. Under oath,
Yeah,
madness.
I was so
just
excited
keep
to be there.
yeah. Like we would probably go if we weren't playing. Like it's so good. Bob Dylan, Under Oath, like so many ridiculously great bands. Bands that have like label mates as well that we've not had a chance to like meet yet. So yeah, hopefully we're going to be lingering around and yeah, we can't wait for that. Radar Fest is going to be incredible.
Yeah, just one long party for sure. So listeners definitely want to again, if you can, get along to that one. Now, to bring us round to a close, we always start off with origin story. We always finish off with the same segment as well, and it follows the live conversation. And I mean, you said earlier, Lewis, that you're not cool people. I'm not a cool person. I've already established I'm a music video geek. I love Excel spreadsheets. Now, the other thing, which I have some Excel spreadsheets about actually, that I obsess over, are set lists. Now, I just really love to look at now what is a band playing? How are they playing it? Yeah, what's the order they're playing it in? What are they trying to achieve with this set list? And set list science is a pretty simple question from me. First of all, how much importance do you place into the structure of your set lists, and have you got any rules that you tend to follow?
Yeah, yeah, I get quite nerdy with the set list stuff, and then we comb through it quite vigorously while we're like in rehearsals. I think the end's really important. The beginning's it's all really important. But for when we were creating a track list for the album, we put that together kind of like a set list. And again, we had rules for that. Like we didn't want all the singles being too close together. That was a big thing for you, Maisie, wasn't it? It was like have the singles kind of spread out. But we knew there was a beginning and an end point, and then narratively, like Cadavers is in the middle because of the audio things we have with like the rain returning throughout. Because again, narrative. So we had like a lot of Venn diagrams that we had going on where a track list has to fit together just like a set list would. So yeah, there's a ton of stuff that because we go to gigs a lot and we've been to gigs like growing up constantly. We've always like studied set lists and how bands put them together. So you want that constant like ebb and flow of energy, don't you? You can't just be like riff, riff, riff. Well, you can if it's a hardcore show, but for an Edge on Dagger show, I think it'd be a bit brutal if we were just like onslaught of just like the fast songs rather than a mix. So yeah, we spend ages, don't we? Like putting things together.
Yeah, and then we'll play them in a rehearsal and we're like, does it feel right? Like
Mm.
you kind of visualize like what are people's faces going to be doing during this part of the set and what like nonsense have we got going on during this part of the set. So yeah, it's a bit of science and a bit of kind of gut feeling as well, I'd say.
Yeah, we also talk a lot of rubbish on stage, like quite
Oh wow.
organically. So we need to like factor that in. So Ross
A
knows
good
like,
10 minutes of time.
yeah, we've got to get our tight five in, our like stand-up routines. And Ross has to
We're
know when
hilarious. So.
we're just dead funny, Paul. That's what it is. Okay, we can't rob the people of our wit and humor. So Ross has to then know, like, okay, that's where you're going to be doing that, and that's where I'm going to cut you off with like going into the next song on the drums. So yeah, we have to work it out with the dynamics, but most importantly, me and Maisie have to get our tight five in more than
Yeah.
anything.
No, it is so important. And again, like maybe people that don't pay as much attention to this don't realize how important it is. But obviously, we talked about how these songs are transitioned across, and it kind of feeds into sort of my follow-on question of, like, do you ever plan, that yes, this is the set list, we think this is going to work. You go out there and play it, and you go, hang on, this didn't quite work there. How good are you at adapting, obviously, over time to think, yeah, we need to change this up? Because obviously, some bands will stick rigorously to, I could name some bands that have started with the same song for like 50 years, and you just think it doesn't really work. Why are you still doing it? Maybe not 50 years, that's a bit old. Not shouting out the Rolling Stones, but how good are you at sort of getting that feel and changing things up if necessary?
Yeah, we try and be quite dynamic. We try and give ourselves a lot of room. Like if it's say we got these tour dates coming up, like we'll have a framework of what we know already feels good, and then maybe we'll give ourselves options for like maybe if we should swap that out, and we'll have a few more on the bench, like on the reserve line, to maybe pull that out. Yeah, we try. Same with like stage stuff and crowd control. Maisie, don't you? You always have like vibes. It has to go off vibes because every night, like your songs might work one day, but for some reason you're playing a different venue. Maybe it's a different day, different kind of crowd. And we support so many different kinds of bands as well. Like we play with heavier bands, we play with lighter bands. Sometimes we're the heavy band. Very strange as for us. But yeah, we have to be prepared for kind of like winning over the crowd no matter what, and then making sure we can like deliver the right recipe to do that.
Yeah, well, you definitely passed in my test on setlist science because you definitely I can tell the love that you've got. So it's fantastic. And the last question of setlist science is one that I added in a while back because it became an internet meme, peekaboo for adults. So it's a very simple question.
Oh,
Encores, either as a fan when you're attending the shows, as you say, or obviously for Edge and Dagger. Encores, yes or no?
We have
that's
a very specific rule for
yeah.
encore.
As of 3 weeks ago, yes.
Yeah.
Before three
But
weeks ago,
because
we
we
said
did
no.
have the rule previously, we've always had the rule of if it's under, wait, is it under 250 cap?
I think
You
that's
can't do
kind
an
of how.
encore.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you play in a club show,
Yeah.
encores when we've witnessed them kind of don't really hit because
Mhm.
you don't have a big stage or backstage area to do peekaboo properly. It's
Yeah.
just don't. And like band, you can normally like have a better show rather than stopping that sort of like energy of the small room. But as we graduated to a big stage recently for our release show, we were like, oh my God, we've broken the rule. We've
Yeah.
broken
We've
our
crossed
own.
the threshold.
Yeah,
You can do an encore, but the other rule is anything under 500 cap, you can only do one song for an encore. If you're going over 500 cap, sure, maybe do two, but under that, you get one, and then you have to go home.
yeah, yeah. We all we do is set ourselves stupid rules that we then have to vigorously follow.
Yeah,
We
if
do
other
it
people do
all
it,
the
it's
time.
fine, but we would never.
Yeah, other bands can do what they want, but for some reason we have to set ourselves these rules. It's the same with like writing briefs when we're making songs or like the album
Random
having
deadlines we set ourselves.
headlines because it's the only way we can work under pressure. Like we work well under pressure, and otherwise things just carry on. It's the reason the album only has one word songs. Again, a made up rule because it was going to be a longer album title. These
We've
things
even
pop
got songs that should have had multiple words, and we've just got rid of the gaps.
because they're like
It's
one
one
word.
word.
That's the
Because I just
rule.
insisted they have to be one word only. But
Yeah.
why? Ah.
Because we were going to have a longer title and then we still ended up with quite a lengthy title for the whole record. So we were like, let's keep it punchy. But again, made up rules that we then have to follow. And it's the same with set lists and the same with encores. For some reason, we've set ourselves capacity limits. We sound psychotic when I say this out loud.
We should never say this outside. Like
No, these are like business.
these are
Things,
like inside thoughts.
yeah, studio only. Because when I say them out loud, we sound psychotic.
Yeah, but I still stand
Yeah.
by them. I still think
Yeah,
I'm right.
it's still right though. It's still
Yeah,
right. We're not wrong. We're just psychotic.
yeah. But
There's nothing
if
wrong
it
with
works,
that.
it works.
Yeah, yeah. It is weird because listening to you throughout this, I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of similarities between me and and you. You
It makes
like,
sense though,
because
doesn't it? Like
it does.
anything
I do the same. I
250
genuinely
just
do.
feels too small for an encore, and it's just ugh. Whereas then you get to the bigger stages, the bigger rooms, the vibes, like that sort of we're getting into 300, 500. You kind of feeling like it's O2 Academy second room. You could see an encore and it doesn't suck. It's good. But again, you don't want to outstay your welcome. You're not Foo Fighters. You're not doing four songs on an encore or doing two encores, God forbid. I don't know
Yeah,
what capacity that is. Stadium,
yeah.
arena,
Maybe even
stadium.
Bon
then,
Jovi level, I think that.
exhausted.
Yeah, Bon Jovi can do what he wants.
Yeah.
That's fine. He passes the test. All
That's
the
the
all
final level. That's where capacities stop. If you're Bon Jovi, then
yeah
it's fine.
yeah. That's our rules finally.
Encore, don't encore. It's up to you.
Do what you want, John. Do what you want, pal. Four encores. Most of his show is encore.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
Statistically, if we looked at a pie chart, most of it's encore.
We've done spreadsheets. We're going to get into pie charts and Venn diagrams, but no, it's been absolutely amazing dissecting all of this. As I say, a guide for apparitions is just such a fantastic opening statement from yourselves as what you're looking to achieve, and obviously the whole package, the whole aesthetic around the band, I'm absolutely loving. So, listeners, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as I have. You obviously have got a list from me of things to check out. Obviously, Belly Aches, which was our single of the week, Cadavers, the video, all of the videos, obviously the album. Follow the band on social media, pick a show to come along to, and jump into this whole aesthetic of what is Air John Dagger. So that is my final message. But I always love to give the final message to the guests. So what would be your final message for the listeners today?
You nailed it, really. Come to a show, join the Church of Dagger, and let's have a good time.
The Church of Dagger. I absolutely love it. Yeah, no, thank you both so much for giving up your time and coming on the podcast.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
for
much
having
for having
us.
us, Paul, and thanks for all your support. Full Pelt have been really great. So yeah, we appreciate you.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that chat there with Air Drawn Dagger. Do make sure you check out their debut album, A Guide for Apparitions, which is out now. You should also check out the band live and follow them on social media. You can also follow, of course, Full Pelt on social media. We're on Facebook at Full Pelt and on Twitter and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. And again, finally from me, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, wherever you're watching or listening, because we'll be back very soon with another episode of the Discover New Music podcast.